In a country that prides itself on freedom, why are the very foods shaping our daily lives the ones quietly ruining our health? Not long ago, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk warned a truth most of us sense, but rarely say out loud. The danger isn't buried in some science study. It's sitting right there in our lunch boxes and coffee cups every day. These so-called all-American comforts have been stitched into daily life as tightly as Sunday football and 4th of July fireworks. But you know, behind the comforting flavors and familiar brands are its sky-high sugar loads, artery-clogging fats, and chemicals you couldn't pronounce even with a PhD in chemistry. And the companies selling them? They bank on you never asking the very question Musk and Kennedy keep raising. What if the foods you've trusted all your life are the ones quietly ruining your health? So what happens when the foods you've loved your whole life turn out to be the very ones slowly breaking you down from the inside? For millions, that trust is costing more than money. It's costing years off their life. This is the Downturn Report, where we name names and break down the 9 all-American favorites that are quietly wrecking your health. Let's get into it. Number 1, sugar-sweetened beverages. We've all been there, right? When you're bone-tired, been grinding since the crack of dawn, and there's that vending machine in the break room, buzzing like it knows your name. Maybe it's a Coke, maybe a bottle of sweet tea, maybe one of those energy drinks with a can designed straight out of a tattoo shop. You tell yourself, just one keeps me from biting someone's head off. It's not just a drink, it's a handshake from your childhood when Dad's Coke at the dinner table, Grandpa's mason jar of sweet iced tea, half sugar, half water. Hot summer ball games where a cold soda was the nectar of the gods. Road trips where the first gas station stop meant a fountain drink the size of your forearm, because why not? It's vacation. These brands have been at the family barbecue longer than some relatives. They promise refreshment, natural energy, and a little sparkle in your day. And here's where the curtain gets pulled back. That sparkle? It's just sugar. Industrial strength, sky high, slap your pancreas awake sugar. We're talking the #1 source of added sugar in the American diet, hiding in plain sight in every cooler from Anchorage to Key West. That innocent-looking 12-ounce can of cola, about 39 grams of sugar, nearly 10 teaspoons, that's your whole day's worth before lunch. And you didn't just have one, did you? Breakfast, lunch, and the top off with dinner, like you're fueling up a diesel truck instead of a human body. And this isn't just a little weight gain. This is a slow-roll demolition of your insides. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, kidneys waving the white flag. The CDC estimates sugar-sweetened drinks help send tens of thousands of Americans to the grave each year. And those aren't strangers. That's our brothers, our neighbors, the guys who poured the concrete, fixed the wiring, and paid into Social Security their whole lives. And don't think for a second these companies don't know exactly what they're doing. Sugar lights up your brain's reward system like a slot machine jackpot. They've spent billions perfecting the hit. Just sweet enough to hook you, just cheap enough to keep you coming back. And they bank on the fact you won't flip the bottle around and read the label. Why would you? You've been drinking this stuff since before you could spell nutrition. And when you start looking around, the ugly truth comes into focus. Because no matter how sharp you get, every lunch counter, every gas station, even the snack shack at your kid's Little League field is shoving the same sugary grenade into your hands. In a country as wealthy as America, it's a bitter joke that a 2-liter bottle of sugar water can cost less than a gallon of milk. It makes you wonder, are we really that poor that the best this nation can offer its hardest working people is something everyone knows is slowly killing them? Or have we just become that easy to sell to as long as it comes wrapped in a familiar label and a bright logo? And you know there's always somebody in the back saying, "Relax, it's my choice. It's just sugar." Or, At least it's cane sugar, not that corn syrup crap. Buddy, your liver doesn't care which plant it came from. It processes both like a bad joke. In some small towns, soda is literally cheaper than bottled water. You think that's an accident? That's a business model. And by the time you strip away the fizz and the nostalgia, you realize this was never just about soda. It's about trust, about the kind of country we've become. The same men who poured the concrete, welded the steel, and kept the trains running now find they can't even trust a bottle with the word refreshing splashed across it. It's about standing there and watching the America you helped build, calloused hands and all, get sold off in 20-ounce portions for $1.29. You see the same rot creeping in everywhere. Healthcare bills that climb higher than your roofline, grocery totals that read like a second mortgage, and a wall of drinks in the cooler that look harmless but chip away at you sip by sip. It's not just a soda, it's the calling card of a system that smiles in your face, takes your money, and hands you something designed to make sure you'll be back, weaker and poorer. For the doctor's bill later, it's not all bad news. There's a way out that doesn't involve giving up everything you love or joining some kale juice cult. You can outsmart the sugar game by making simple swaps. Sparkling water brightened with a squeeze of lemon, a pitcher of unsweetened iced tea you brew yourself, or a cup of black coffee without the candy bar syrups. You still get the ritual, the cold bottle in your hand, that small pause in your day. Only now it comes without the 3 p.m. sugar crash that hits like a freight train. Some families even turn it into a challenge, no soda for a week. And before long, the kids are sipping flavored seltzer and saying soda tastes too sweet. Imagine that, your own kids calling Coke gross. That's not giving up comfort, that's stealing back your health. If it really is this simple to swap, then why are billions of dollars still being poured every year into making sure you don't? So next time you're standing there, reaching for that pick-me-up, ask yourself, is this really the America I worked for? And if that answer stings, maybe, just maybe, it's time to leave the can in the cooler. Number 2, fries. They call it a side, like it's just some harmless +1 to the main event. But in America, fries aren't a side. They're the +1 that steals the show, the buddy that shows up uninvited and still ends up in all the pictures. Doesn't matter if it's a KFC burger, a MC Donald's breakfast, or the paper boat you get at the county fair with a plastic fork that bends before it stabs anything. The fries are always there, golden and smiling like they've known you your whole life. You dunk them in ketchup, maybe ranch if you're feeling fancy, and tell yourself, hey, they're potatoes. That's a vegetable, right? Somewhere the USDA food pyramid is face-palming, and here's where the grease meets the road. Those golden sticks of comfort are less farm-fresh spud and more deep-fried chemistry set. Once a potato takes a swan dive into 350-degree oil, it stops being a vegetable and starts becoming a delivery system for trans fats, salt, and if they stay in the fryer long enough, acrylamide's the kind of compound you don't bring up if you want to keep your lunch down. They hit your taste buds like fireworks, but treat your arteries like an old sidewalk under a jackhammer. Breaking them down, crack by crack, bite by bite. Eat them often enough, and you're not just padding your waistline. You're buying a season ticket to inflammation, heart disease, and blood sugar spikes that make you feel like you've been on a roller coaster you didn't sign up for. And here's the punchline. The average American eats 30 pounds of fries a year. That's not a treat. That's a long-term relationship. Does it even matter if you wise up when every value meal in the country is engineered to make sure the fries come with it? Ever notice it's cheaper to get the burger with fries and a soda than the burger by itself? That's not generosity, that's a trap. Salt, oil, starch, the holy trinity of cheap addiction. bundled and upsold to you in the name of a deal. And God help you if you suggest skipping them. You can tell a guy to quit smoking, and he'll nod. Tell him to skip the fries, and suddenly you're the un-American health nut ruining his lunch. For a lot of folks, fries are comfort food. But comfort can be a con, especially when it's sold in cardboard sleeves with a logo on the front and a slow-burn expiration date stamped on your health. When you strip away the nostalgia, you see it's not just fries. It's the way our plates have been hijacked. Simple foods re-engineered to be addictive, stripped of nutrition, and sold back to the very people who harvested the potatoes, drove the trucks, and kept the diners open. The same men who built the food system now pay with their health for the privilege of eating what they once helped put on the table. Sure, you can try to outsmart it. Swap in baked wedges, air-fried potatoes, maybe roasted sweet potatoes if you want to pretend you're still being fun at dinner. Season them yourself, garlic, paprika, rosemary, so at least you control the salt and the oil. Keep the crispy ritual without turning your bloodstream into fryer grease. And if you do it right, you'll wonder why you ever let a drive-thru decide how your fries should taste. But here's the catch. If fries were just about taste, would billion-dollar chains spend fortunes engineering them to hook your brain the way nicotine hooks a smoker? So next time someone asks, "Do you want fries with that?" maybe ask yourself, am I ordering a side or just signing up for another round of slow-motion Russian roulette? Number 3, ultra-processed foods. You're standing in the grocery aisle, staring down row after row of boxes, bags, and shiny pouches. They hum with promises, made with real ingredients. Family favorite since 1978. Your shortcut to a happy dinner table. And somewhere between the neon cereal mascots and the microwave-ready lasagnas, you start to believe it. You think you're choosing a variety, freedom, the modern American abundance your grandparents could only dream of. But here's the sleight of hand. Abundance isn't the same as nourishment. These shelves aren't stocked for your health. They're stocked for someone's quarterly earnings. That real cheese was born in a vat. That home-style gravy never saw a skillet. And the whole grain in your snack bar might be outnumbered by corn syrup 3-to-1. Every bite feels like choice, but the menu's been rigged before you even walk through the automatic doors. We were sold the idea that processed meant modern, and modern meant better. TV dinners so mom could rest, boxed cake mix so you could bake like a pro, cereal that turned breakfast into fun. They didn't say the fun came with higher blood sugar, rising cholesterol, and a body hooked on flavors no farm could produce. You thought you were saving money, but the price tag shows up at the doctor's office, one prescription at a time. And behind those brands is an industry that knows exactly what it's doing. The center aisles in the supermarket are engineered as profit quarters, full of products that cost cents to make and dollars to sell. The cheapest calories in America, almost always the most processed. The people making them, driving the harvesters, packing the boxes, often earn so little they have no choice but to feed their families the same food they're paid to produce. And that's not an accident. Ultra-processed foods are the perfect business. They last forever, they're addictive, and they keep you coming back. Meanwhile, fresh food is pushed to the edges, literally, while the middle is a maze of boxes and bags, a system built not to feed you, but to keep you buying. Think about the promise. Family-size value means you're a good provider, a smart shopper. But what's the reality? A dinner that fills bellies but empties health. A meal that feels cheap today, but costs more tomorrow. In pills and hospital bills, in years shaved quietly off your life. They sold us convenience like it was a gift, but it's really a leash. And here's the question for you. The men and women who built this country, who know the value of hard work and honest food, if the folks making it won't eat it, why should we? If the system profits from keeping us sick, where does that leave the America we thought we were building? Is this the best we can do for our kids and grandkids? Number 4. Processed meats. You'd think a slice of ham or a hot dog on the grill is as American as summer picnics and Little League games. It smells like childhood, like Dad at the barbecue, like holidays when the table was too full to fit all the plates. But peel back the foil, and the warmth of those memories starts to curdle. They tell us processed meats are just a convenient way to enjoy protein. They don't tell us the protein comes laced with sodium levels high enough to make a cardiologist weep, preservatives that turn your stomach into a chemistry lab, and nitrates that scientists have linked to cancer for decades. That all-beef hot dog might be beef the same way reality TV is reality. Offcuts, trimmings, connective tissue, all spun into something you can swallow without thinking. But this isn't just about what's in the meat. It's about the people in the system that gets it to your plate. In 2022, OSHA reports showed meatpacking plants among the most dangerous workplaces in America. Injuries so routine they're called the chain tax, fingers crushed by machinery, chemical burns from cleaning agents, repetitive strain injuries that never fully heal. And here's the kicker. The people taking those risks are often immigrants, many undocumented, working for wages that wouldn't cover a week's groceries. The companies, the ones whose commercials still show happy families, biting into glistening sausages that have been fined over and over for unsafe conditions. Tyson, Smithfield, JBS. They pay the fine, issue a PR statement, and get back to business because the profits dwarf the penalties. And you, standing at the deli counter, are told the price per pound is a great deal. Follow the trail further, and you find out that during the pandemic, meat plants became virus hotspots. Workers begged for safer conditions, but management told them to keep the lines moving. Some of those workers never made it home, but the bacon still hit the shelves, wrapped in plastic and nostalgia. So here's the moral math no one wants to do. Every slice of bargain bologna is subsidized by someone else's body. The heart attacks fueled by the salt, the lungs scarred by ammonia fumes in the plants, the families left behind when just another shift turns into a tragedy. The commercials say processed meats bring people together. Maybe they do, but they also tie us together in a chain, from the factory floor to the dinner plate, where the weakest links are always the ones that break first. Number 5, frozen meals. It starts with a promise, dinner in minutes. The box shows a perfectly plated lasagna, steam curling like it was baked by someone's sweet Italian grandmother. You picture yourself beating rush hour traffic, kicking off your shoes, popping this miracle into the microwave, and home-cooked comfort without the work. Except that comfort was engineered in a corporate lab, not a kitchen. That cheese, a processed blend built to melt on cue, loaded with stabilizers your great-grandparents couldn't pronounce. The vegetables were frozen so long, they've got more passport stamps than you do. And that sodium count? It could outmatch an entire fast food combo meal designed to keep you hooked while your blood pressure quietly climbs. They sell it as liberation from kitchen drudgery. But here's the trade. You save 20 minutes tonight and give away years down the line. Your heart pays. Your arteries pay. And if you think it's just about you, think again. The real cost is buried deep in the supply chain. Follow that box back far enough and you'll hit the same mega processors that supply prison cafeterias, underfunded school lunch programs, and even military rations, mass feeding systems built for efficiency, not dignity. In 2021, a whistleblower from one major frozen food supplier leaked footage of workers racing to scrape mold off production lines before a surprise inspection. Those batches? They were relabeled and shipped out anyway. And the human toll doesn't stop there. The factories churning out these convenience miracles often rely on low-wage labor, sometimes migrant workers clocking 12-hour shifts in freezer rooms cold enough to crack skin. Some lose feeling in their fingers permanently. Others work without breaks because pausing the line costs too much. Yet turn on the TV and you'll see ad campaigns drenched in warmth. Families gathered on the couch, laughing over microwave pot, pies like it's Thanksgiving dinner. They'll tell you it's about togetherness, but togetherness shouldn't come with a side of frostbite, hypertension, and corporate sleight of hand. So the next time you reach for that box in the frozen aisle, ask yourself, are you buying convenience? Or are you signing up for the slow, quiet trade-off where your health and someone else's humanity get shaved away for the sake of a 5-minute cook time? Number 6, sugary coffee drinks. It's 7:45 a.m. The line at Starbucks snakes out the door. You're half awake, scrolling your phone, pretending to browse the menu even though you already know what you're ordering. The name alone sounds harmless, even luxurious. Caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino, pumpkin spice latte, mocha cookie crumble. It's dessert in a paper cup wearing a coffee costume. You nod without thinking. Venti, please. First sip, sweet. Second sip, sweeter. By the third, you can practically hear your dentist ordering a new boat. But here's what the cheery chalkboard menu won't tell you. A grande caramel latte packs over 50 grams of sugar. That's almost double the American Heart Association's daily limit before you've even answered your first email. The specialty coffee industry has mastered the art of turning your morning pick-me-up into a sugar delivery system with a side of caffeine. They call it self-care. You call it, I deserve this. And they know that after a night of lousy sleep, you'll reach for caffeine like it's a life raft. So they pile on the whole-fat milk, the flavored syrups, the whipped cream, the caramel drizzle, not to wake you up, but to keep you hooked in a sweet caffeine energy crash loop you'll pay to repeat tomorrow. But the real story isn't just in the cup. Trace those beans and that milk back to their source, and you'll find the cracks in the system. Coffee farmers in Central America paid pennies on the dollar for crops that took months to grow. Dairy plant workers in the U.S. pulling 12-hour shifts in freezing conditions, sometimes injured and pushed to keep going. And corporate lobbyists quietly work to delay sugar labeling rules because they know once you see the numbers, you'll start asking questions. While Starbucks posts record profits, the Dairy Workers Alliance reports rising injuries and burnout in milk processing plants. While coffee chains roll out sustainability campaigns with recyclable cups, Fairtrade International's data shows thousands of farmers still selling coffee for less than it costs to produce. And yet the ads tell a different story. A smiling barista, a latte art heart, soft acoustic music in the background, that perfect little wooden table where you take a moment for yourself. No mention that your moment comes with the sugar equivalent of 2 Snickers bars and a health debt you'll be paying off for years. So here's the question. Are you really paying for caffeine? Or are you handing over cash every morning to mainline sugar wrapped in a cup with a smiling mermaid logo? Number 7, potato chips and salty snacks. Remember when a bag of chips was a treat you brought to the church picnic and not a life sentence in the cardiac ward? Somewhere between Eisenhower and TikTok, America turned potato chips from an occasional indulgence into a daily food group, thanks to marketing that's shinier than a 4th of July parade float. They tell us it's freedom of choice. Sure, you're free to choose from 30 different flavors of fried starch, each engineered by food scientists with government-subsidized corn oil and salt, mined from God knows where, while the price of fresh produce climbs higher than your Social Security check. That's not freedom. That's a trap with a nutrition label. And here's the kicker. The very companies selling you these family-sized bags are the same ones lobbying against Medicare covering more heart disease prevention programs. Why? Because high blood pressure is good business for somebody. Guess who picks up the tab when decades of sodium catch up to you? Not Frito-Lay, not PepsiCo. It's you, me, and every taxpayer footing the bill for another round of stents and prescriptions through a system we keep calling the best healthcare in the world. This isn't about a snack, it's about a cycle. We subsidize the crops that make this junk cheap. We let corporations pump it into every gas station and grocery aisle. And when our arteries clog, the healthcare industry steps in like a tow truck, charging by the mile. Somewhere a lobbyist is raising a glass of champagne, probably with a plate of artisanal sea salt chips, thanking Congress for keeping the game going. So the next time you hear that satisfying crunch, ask yourself, is it the sound of a snack or the sound of another year shaved off your life? And in the land of the free, why does it feel like the salt shaker's always in someone else's hand? Number 8, packaged snack foods. If potato chips are the gateway drug, packaged snack foods are the fully stocked dealer on every block. We're talking granola bars that could double as candy, fruit snacks that have never seen a real orchard, crackers so whole grain they're 60% refined flour, and those neon orange cheese puffs that leave your fingers looking like you committed a crime at a nacho stand. These aren't just snacks, they're Trojan horses dressed up in wholesome packaging. Slap a made with real fruit label on corn syrup gummies, or protein packed on a sugar bomb granola bar, and suddenly parents feel like they're doing something good for their kids. Lunchboxes across America are loaded with these little calorie grenades, and the food companies know it. In fact, they count on it, marketing these products directly during Saturday morning cartoons, sponsoring Little League teams, even sneaking them into school fundraising catalogs. The genius and the crime is that they sell trust. Your kid begs for a pouch of fruit chews, and you say yes because the box has a smiling strawberry and a heart-shaped vitamin C badge. But peel back the foil, and you're looking at concentrated sugar, artificial colors, and additives banned in other countries. The UK banned certain food dyes years ago over hyperactivity concerns in children. The same dyes still show up in snacks sold in every US grocery aisle. And here's the kicker. These brands are often owned by the same conglomerates making the chips, sodas, and cookies you swore you'd cut back on. PepsiCo, Kellogg's, General Mills. They've built snack monopolies so vast that even if you think you're voting with your wallet, you're still feeding the same corporate beast. This isn't about hating snacks. It's about recognizing a system designed to blur the line between treat and staple. In the 80s, snacks were an occasional indulgence. Today, nearly a quarter of American kids' daily calories come from packaged snacks. That's not convenient. That's a slow replacement of real food with edible branding exercises. Worse, while you're paying $5 for a box of organic cookies, workers in processing plants earn barely above minimum wage, sometimes without health benefits, and are pushed to meet quotas that make safety an afterthought. It's an unappetizing truth the marketing team won't print on the box. So next time you're tossing just a few snack packs into your cart, remember that you're not just stocking your pantry. You're buying into a carefully engineered habit, one that starts in childhood and often lasts a lifetime. And in that lifetime, the house, meaning big snack, always wins. Number 9, energy drinks. Once upon a time, a jolt of energy meant a good night's sleep, a hot breakfast, and maybe a strong cup of coffee before work. Now, it comes in a neon can the size of a thermos, with flames, lightning bolts, and promises that sound more like a Marvel origin story than a beverage label. They pitch it as fuel for your grind, wings to get you through the day, or liquid focus. But here's the inconvenient truth. These drinks aren't fueling you. They're running you on credit. Caffeine and sugar flood your system, your heart rate spikes, and for a couple hours you feel unstoppable. Then the bill comes due. the crash hits. You're more tired than when you started, so you reach for another can. Congratulations! You've just signed up for a daily loan shark in liquid form. And let's talk about what's actually inside. A single can can pack as much caffeine as 5 cups of coffee, along with enough sugar to make a dentist weep, plus a chemical cocktail of proprietary blends no one at the FDA has fully studied in combination. Taurine, guarana, L-carnitine. Sounds sciencey, right? But when mixed with caffeine in high doses, they can mess with your heart rhythm, spike blood pressure, and in rare but very real cases, lead to sudden cardiac arrest. The marketing? A masterpiece of predation. These cans aren't just in gas stations anymore. They're plastered across gaming tournaments, extreme sports, and even college libraries during finals week. They've been woven into the culture as the badge of the overworked and the underrested. The unspoken message: if you can't keep up with America's breakneck pace, it's your fault. Not the system that demands 60-hour weeks, side hustles, and always-on availability. And here's the kicker. Some of the very companies making these drinks have also bought stakes in bottled water brands and hydration products. They know their cans dehydrate you, so they're ready to sell you the cure at double the price. It's the perfect business loop. Jack up your heart rate, dry you out, sell you relief, repeat. So the next time you crack open one of those icy, buzzing cans, ask yourself, is this really giving me life, or just renting it back to me, one shaky heartbeat at a time? The truth about these 9 foods isn't just about empty calories. It's about trust traded for profit and health gambled away like loose change. Every sip, every crunch, every treat feels like a spin of the wheel, and for many, the cost isn't pocket change. It's medication refills, hospital visits, and years quietly shaved off their life. But the choice is still yours. Demand better. Support food that respects both the eater and the human behind the counter. Because every meal is a choice, and the next one could change more than just what's on your plate. Subscribe, comment, and let's start tipping the odds back in our favor.
Thanks a lot for sticking with us to the very end. If you found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss any daily uploads. And now go ahead and explore some of our top recommended videos popping up on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.